Have you fed him this morning?
And good morning. My name is Hyla. Welcome to Adobe's Pillow Talk here at Sundance 2016. We're inside the Airbnb house where the coffee is pouring. It's really cold outside, but it's super cozy in the bed. I want Andy Goldstein and Robyn Gray to join me in the bed right now. We're going to talk a little VR. Get in here, guys. Andy's got himself a super meta shirt that I want everyone to recognize.
Oh yeah, Yoda Game of Thrones, that's where it's at.
I mean, the world would explode. The fanboys would just obliterate. It was like, what would happen, right? If those two worlds actually combined.
You know what? I'd completely make a VR experience about that.
A lot of beheadings.
A lot of beheadings. I love it with lightsabers.
With lightsabers.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, welcome to Sundance. Welcome to our little pillow talk here.
Most comfortable interview I've ever done.
Yeah, thanks for bringing us there.
Well,
Nice
I
and
haven't
comfy.
even asked you anything. It's gonna get really
Oh
uncomfortable.
man.
So I would say the number one topic at Sundance this year has to be virtual reality. It gets brought up by everybody. Everybody wants to experience it. It's the hot new toy right now. And you guys, is it a film or installation or like what's the technical word we call sisters?
We call Sisters an experience.
An experience, okay.
It's used with a game engine, but it's actually a narrative piece. So we're kind of combining a lot of these different mediums and genres together to do something differently.
Let's start at the very beginning, Robyn. Just like how do you get into creating something that's in the world of virtual reality? Like, you know, I think most filmmakers understand you grab a camera, you go shoot, you edit, you put it together. So what's kind of the beginning steps, the process, in order to create a virtual reality experience or film?
So we make our virtual reality experiences very much like we make video games. Andy and I both have game backgrounds.
Okay.
So we'll start by making all the sets in Maya and then bringing them into our game engine, which is Unity currently.
Right.
And we've worked on all these different platforms, so we can stick it anywhere. We can stick it on mobile, we can stick it on the Vive, as Sisters is right now. We've done Oculus Rift, we've played a little bit with PlayStation VR.
Yeah. When was the first moment you realized we should try this VR thing? Like how early in the game did you become conscious of it, aware of it, and thought, you know, we want to test our art in this realm, in this world?
Well, Andy and I both came out of the USC graduate program, Interactive Media, and it's kind of like it's kind of like its own little summer camp that's just already full of like VR everywhere.
Right.
Like the resources there for VR are insane. So even if you're like, oh, I don't know about that, someone somewhere is going to be like, hey, you should try this thing. And you'll be like, that is pretty cool. Maybe we should try this thing. Which is basically what happened to us.
And your first crack at it, what was that experience like?
We worked on a project, when was Spacewalk? Like maybe 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago when we were in grad school.
Fall 2013. I
Yeah,
think.
with a great friend of ours, Richard Ems, and it was this project called Spacewalk. And we took a model of the International Space Station and let people go into virtual reality and do an actual spacewalk. And at that point, we're like, wow, there's really something cool here that we can play around with.
That sounds pretty amazing. I mean, just in the 2.5 years that you've been working with the technology, how has it changed? How has it grown and evolved?
It's gone from, I guess I could put this on my face because it's a cool novelty, to like, I could sit in here and just hang out in this completely different world and feel like I'm actually just there.
The technology has come forth a lot, and I mean, there's so many companies that are now throwing in to do this. I mean, when we were working on Spacewalk, we were working on like an early prototype of like an Oculus, and now, you know, there's Oculus, Sony, Vive, Google, all these big companies are doing stuff in virtual reality.
Yeah, VR has definitely gone from like, oh yeah, VR was a thing back in the 80s, I guess. No one really liked it that much, to like, it's the hottest thing ever, yeah.
Right, yeah.
One thing that I noticed because I did it for the first time with Sisters, and it's, you know, like a scary, suspenseful kind of experience where you walk into a house that feels haunted, and you have a flashlight, and the lights go out. You quickly, when you first put the goggles on and the whole thing, you feel a little silly, but you get lost in it so quickly, right? And my mind goes to 5-10 years in the future, where everything's gonna just feel even more real. And I don't know, living in that space, where do you see the industry going, the technology going in 5 to 10 years?
So 5 to 10 years, like my goal is that in 5 to 10 years, me and a bunch of my friends can have some sort of pair of glasses, some sort of augmented reality glasses, go out into the middle of nowhere into a forest, and we can fight some sort of giant dragon or troll together, and literally just be out there in that, basically like LARPing, but playing games out in the real world with the use of technology. And that's the real hope that I have, is that we can get to that point soon.
I mean, yeah, that sounds rad. That sounds like the ultimate, fanboy bachelor party weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, are you kidding me?
Just in Big Sur. I had read somewhere that a guy had tried VR for 48 hours straight.
Ooh.
Did you guys read about that story?
I've heard about that, yeah.
And he had a panic attack and was like, "Get me out of here." What are your thoughts on the ways that it will become part of our daily life, not just an experience where you just go to the movies, but maybe do you see it something that we wear them for a big part of our day and we just kind of escape to this other place? Because I'm in the goggles and I'm thinking, I can be doing anything, I can be anywhere. It's kind of limitless. Why would I want to hang out here more often?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely right now a huge entertainment value, but I think what we see is people's appetites. The best stuff is 5 to 10 minutes right now, and I think it's going to take a really long time before we start getting feature-length VR things. We're talking 60, 90 minutes, and how we set up stuff a lot is we do 5-minute pieces, and really we just love doing kind of episodic things. So what you tried, Sisters, we want to have more rooms in that haunted house that you can kind of go explore, and then at your own pace, you can decide how much VR you want to consume.
Sure.
We're also really waiting for the headsets to become more comfortable. We're waiting for AR to take over too.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you can augment things on top of your everyday world, you can just swap between
VR,
the two.
virtual reality. What's AR?
Okay, so virtual reality is basically you put on the goggles and we're taking everything away.
Okay.
You have a completely new experience. So Sisters is a virtual reality experience.
Okay.
Augmented reality is we put some sort of glasses on you, but you can still see the real world, and then we start to layer other experiences on that. So let's say you were wearing AR glasses right now, and there was a rocket ship flying around up there. That's an AR experience.
Well, I was going to say, I would like to imagine the dystopic future where we see everyone's Facebook profiles as soon as you look at them and you see all their terrible photos from high school. That'll be a thing.
So AR is kind of Google Glass was kind of AR, right?
Yep.
So it's in that vein. Gotcha. Talk about having an installation at Sundance. Is this your first dance? Is this your first time here?
I was here last year, but not with a project, just doing a lot of kind of VR things and business meetings. But this is our first time actually having projects at Sundance.
So what is the reception from other filmmakers and other artists when they come and they check out the VR room and they see your stuff? What are people saying?
Well, we get a lot of
Screams are the best PR we get.
That's the big reaction.
That's yes. I shot some video of myself. Just you look like a crazy person. But when you're in it, you're like, I was scared, for real scared. All right, guys, are you ready for the final 5?
Oh, final 5.
These are the final 5 questions of the interview.
Oh man, you're gonna kick us out of the bed? It's so comfy.
I was gonna take a nap.
Sorry.
I thought that's what we were here for.
I like to have multiple strangers in my bed, as many as possible.
Well, I mean, you're doing the interviews.
That's right, interviews. Question number 5. When you need to go and find an uninterrupted space for creativity, where you need to focus, you need to recharge those creative juices, where do you go or how do you do it?
I like to sit in our demo room. Our demo room has a space that we've set aside specifically for the Vive. It's completely empty. It looks boring as hell when you're not in VR. And the best part is there's a window into the office. So if I'm not working, Andy will kind of turn and look back at me.
Be like, are you on Facebook now?
That really boots me into creativity mode.
Nice. Andy, how about you?
Generally, when I need to recharge and get some creativity, I actually start to make pitch presentations for properties that I want to bring into VR. Things that I think would work really well, and I've got probably 30 on my computer that I'm just randomly working on. And that always kind of gets my creative juices going about like, how would you take some property and move it into VR and what would that look like?
That sounds rad. All right, moving on to number 4. Are you more productive when you're staying up late or getting up early?
Late.
Yeah, we're both night owls.
Yeah, mornings are terrible.
I think we generally come into the office at like 10:30 and like leave at like 7 or 8. Like we aren't morning people.
Nice. Okay. Number 3. What's a creative killer that you try and avoid at all costs?
Ooh,
Costs.
that's a really good question.
I really, really dislike remaking things. Like, I don't like the
remakes.
trend of clones and cloning different games, so as much as possible, if I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, at the same time I'm like, but I don't want to take that because someone's already doing that, so
So we
I'll
won't
just
see
figure it
Sisters
out.
2.
Oh no, you will, but there will be different things that you'll be
Right.
doing. There'll be
Gotcha.
different mechanics.
And we won't be
different-
trying to, wrangle Angry Birds and Clash of Clans into anything like that.
Right. How about you?
Oh no, I think Robin's right. I think like we really hate when we build something and then we've tried it and we say, oh, it's exactly like X. Like that really is
Right.
just kind of a creative killer.
Right. All right, number 2. When you're creating a film or your installations or your experience, what's your biggest fear when you're making it?
Ooh, that's a good
That
one.
it'll crash. My
Yeah,
equipment will
right.
break.
Yeah, crash and burn. Yeah, I mean, I think Robin's right.
Yeah.
Technical issues. I mean, we
Like-
spend weeks before we show anything just quality assurance, bulletproofing it to make sure it'll work on anything. I mean, even for here, we brought our own equipment in case stuff broke over at the New Frontier section, which they were running, just to make sure that we'd have everything ready to go in case.
Especially
we
with
needed to do it.
VR, because the equipment can be pretty temperamental.
yeah.
So it's just a technical meltdown that,
Oh,
that
yeah.
you fear the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. And finally, at number 1, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, especially within the realm of VR. But what's a story or a topic that should be covered in virtual reality this year?
Ooh, that's so good. I wish I had time to ponder that. You go, Robin.
Oh, no, I keep going.
Pass the
Yeah.
buck.
Oh yeah.
No wrong answers. Just
Story to cover in VR. I'm really excited for stuff to come out in VR that is episodic. Right now, we've seen a lot of cool tech demos. We have yet to see something that kind of goes over 10 to 15 episodes that really highlights environmental storytelling, and that you can go do episode 1 and then you kind of go through and you learn more about this experience in a narrative way. And that's what I'm really hoping starts to happen this year and people start to cover.
Mine's pretty boring, but living in LA, all I really want is for someone to make just beautiful places for me to just be in. Like, there's a lot of scary stuff, there's a lot of really weird stuff. I just want somewhere that I want to hang out in. We have a couple of those, but I want more of them, where
So,
I can
like-
just hang out and not be in LA.
Right, LA without the smog. That would be
Yeah.
an amazing VR. Oh, one last bonus question. Sorry, I wanted to slip this in because I just thought of it. Do you see virtual reality being something that's more personal in the home, or more of like a group experience like at a movie theater?
I think that's completely dependent on if you're introvert or extrovert. It can totally be both, and it will be.
Right.
Just depends on what you want to do. Do you not want to see people for once? Yeah, go hide in your VR corner. Do you want to hang out with a ton of people? Sure, there's something for that too. You can go on the forest with Andy and kill some ogres.
Yeah, right? No, I'm answering that question. I think it's both. I think there's going to be some really cool installation stuff that you can go do. Like, let's say you go to just a normal movie theater right now, and they have, a VR experience, a tethered experience there that you can walk around in.
Yeah.
That's a really cool use of it. But then also to kind of try and experience stuff when you're at home with your friends. Sisters, our mobile version, the most popular thing people do is show it at parties and scare their friends and then watch their friends get scared.
Okay, bonus question.
Okay,
Sorry,
nice.
these keep coming to me. I totally messed up the final 5, the almost final 5. How can people experience VR? I mean, obviously we're at Sundance, so it's readily available here, but just the rest of the country, the rest of the world, wherever you're watching, how would I go about? Are there VR bars that are popping up? Do I need to just buy my own headset?
So the most secret thing about VR that people don't really talk about is you've actually got something that can play VR right in your pocket, in that cell phones can do a lot of stuff in virtual reality, and all you need is kind of a low-end viewer, something like Google Cardboard. Unofficial Cardboard makes stuff too. and you can buy those for less than $20 and you can get them shipped to your house. So buy something like that and you just download virtual reality content like you download apps on your phone. So it's really accessible to kind of everyone. The higher end stuff will come in later this year, or you can check it out at installation pieces and places too.
Yeah, I think for the next year we'll end up seeing tons of big names just releasing like, this is me advertising my project, come try my VR thing, as we've been seeing this past year.
Yep.
So there should be plenty of opportunities to hop into VR if you want to go.
Yep.
What a time to be alive. Robyn Gray, Andy Goldstein, guys, thank you so much for joining me in bed.
Awesome. Thanks for inviting us to your bed. It's been great.
Adobe's Pillow Talk. We got more interviews with filmmakers coming up later.